Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome to Maverick's Reviews of Head-to-Head-9 Parks. This is episode number 3, or review for park match number 3. This is the last match we've got of round 1 of Head-to-Head-9. Real quick overview for those of you who might not know, Head-to-Head-9 is a contest held on New Element at nedesigns.com where they pit parks, 6 teams pitting parks against each other in a round-robin style format where the parks go head-to-head to determine which is the best. So this is the 9th installation of the contest, and here we're looking at match 3 of round 1. This is the final match of round 1, and this features what I would probably say are the 2 best parks from this round. You can certainly make arguments for any of the other 4 we've already looked at, but as far as I'm concerned, these 2 are definitely, I would say, the front runners for best parks of this round, potentially even of the contest. So let's dive right in. The first park we are looking at today in this match between the Tile Inspectors and Adventurers Club, we are looking at the Tile Inspectors Park. This is Aqua Alta 1896. This was built by Who's Leon, Renee, Mulder, and Biohazard. So, funnily enough, we kind of sometimes will see this in head-to-head where we get 2 parks throughout the season that are kind of similar in concept, and in this case, we get that right off the bat here in round 1 with this. We had our flooded London earlier, and here we have our flooded Venice. Most notably with the couple famous icons here, the big tower, as well as that very famous bridge, and then obviously we've got all the boats going around throughout, so that kind of reminiscent of what Venice actually is right now, being a city on the water, but are hints to this being a sort of I don't know if to say post-apocalyptic, because it's set over 100 years ago, but we've got some sort of apocalyptic, flooding. We've got this big dam up on this side of the map, showing off that we've got some high water with the subway running underneath, which is pretty cool. Boats up here, and then we've got the, like I said, big dam with water flooding in, showing off that then the rest of the area itself here is flooded quite a lot. So again, very similar concept to Drowned that we saw earlier, but I think this takes it. This is just executed a little bit better for me personally, but let's dive right in. So like I said, we've got this really cool dam along this kind of front side of the park here, really cool clock feature up on the wall here. At least I'm assuming it's a clock. It might not necessarily be, but just a lot of really good detail here. This flying machine, kind of a Da Vinci-esque type looking machine there. Just love how thick these waterfalls are. Just using that waterfall train object or custom ride to get that really thick look, like it's really pouring in, which you can't really do with the base game waterfalls, as well as getting that really nice curve of it coming over. I love that the guests can walk behind it, and just a lot of really good detailing along the back side of the wall here, making it look like just a really nice dam. Really sells that 1896 steampunk-esque vibe. It's feeling like they're going for kind of from back in that time, but really love it. So as we turn around here, I could go on and point out all the different details of the architecture here. I'll let if you view it, I'll let you explore it all on your own. Otherwise, it would take too long to get through. But it's just, on the whole, really nice, well detailed, a lot of interesting shapes. None of it really feels boxy. And just gives you a lot to look at. Sets up the scene really nicely. A lot of depth to it. A lot of different layers, and it just makes it, a lot of it where you can kind of look in and explore and find stuff on your own as you keep it. Every time you kind of come back, you find something new. And throughout all of that architecture, we've got one big, long, weaving, flying roller coaster, Il Grande Nebo, if I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. It is a flying coaster. Looks like we only got one train, so we'll wait for that to come back around. But the layout as a whole is very sprawling, actually decently realistic to what we'd see from a modern flying coaster, other than the support work in places, especially around this tower here. Don't know if we'd see that in real life, but I do love the use of this kind of crane cable support here to hold up the backbone that's holding up the rest of it, so you don't have supports jutting down into the muddy water below. Although that's kind of, I do wish that that could have maybe been carried over throughout the rest of the ride. It's a little odd that you have this really cool kind of fantasy-esque support structure on the lift, and then some more modern B&M supports throughout. But we start off with the pretzel loop after that wraparound drop around the tower. Pretty typical start for a flyer. Like I said, pretty realistic. Comes up here, swoops around, 0G roll, dive down through. And again, I love the interaction of this thing. Really does what I think a flying coaster can do well, of kind of, soaring over stuff. You either want I think flying coasters excel when they're either really high off the ground, or you get a lot of good interaction with the path, like you're soaring over things to make it very visible. But a relatively short layout there. Does a lot of weaving around the park, but it is over relatively quickly. Not necessarily that's a bad thing. But like I said, again, the main thing with this that I love, it is a decently realistic layout. It flows decently well, but that interaction is just top notch to me, and it takes it to another level there. So as we continue along, like I said, we've got the wonderful, I can't remember the name of the actual bridge in real life, but this wonderful, very iconic bridge from Venice. Kind of helps set the scene again. As I said before in previous reviews, if you're setting your park in a place or in a time or an event, whatever it is, you want to make what you're going for very obvious to whoever's viewing it. So the most you can accomplish without a README, the better. And again, I think with the tower and with that bridge, it's very obvious that we're supposed to be in some sort of Venice looking at this park. So as we continue over, really, really cool factory glass stained, steampunky 1800s World Fair-esque building here. Just a really cool architecture throughout the park, and some of this stuff especially, just lots of great ornate details. Love the Ferris wheel used here around these big arches throughout the building. And we've got within this building, if I can figure out which car we want to take a look at first, I will go here. Fabbrica di Vapor. I think I'm going to probably get a lot of flack for pronouncing stuff wrong, but it's a nice little Gerstlauer spinning coaster style ride, at least, weaving in and out of this building. I think this is a nice little supporting ride. Love how it's integrated with the buildings and the surroundings, with these nice the hairpins going back around these towers for this boat dock down here with a really, really cool plane. Kind of, again, looks like another one of the Da Vinci machines like we saw earlier, with the arch kind of fits that style. But it wraps around everything really nicely. I love that it pops in and out of the building. It's not taking up too much space, too much sprawling. It's a nice accent ride, I think, to the park as a whole, to give more interest, more movement, and really sell that this is still theme park-y in a sense, and not necessarily just going for pure realism. There's obviously a bit of fun involved here, which is good to see. So then as we continue along, we get to this nice little, this is where we kind of get more into the sunkenness of the map. We can see this kind of sunken, I don't know if this is what I call it, favela type or slums type area, but definitely a bit more raggedy than the rest of the park, and definitely a bit more sunken down, as obviously that the water level was at one height before, and now it's been raised up significantly. You can see all the underwater detail. There was clearly path down there, and now we've got these nice submarine voyages to show you what life was like before the floods came. So moving right along again, nice little interior scene here that the flyer goes through. Looks like some sort of basement powerhouse for this hotel. Really cool round rotunda here. This is a nice, cool support structure too, using the shot ride. Again, the architecture on this map is really insane, especially the detail level, and for the fact that it was done for round one, where there was about a month everybody had from when they started the contest to when they had a chance to look at it. But again, one last really good building over here. Great arches and domes up on the top. Got the boat ride coming in through and out of it. This is kind of a tour boat ride, at least, unless there's a drop that I've missed somewhere, but I can't find it. The dark ride looking thing over here. I mean, there's just so much to explore that I'm not going to have time to go through everything. I'm already running a little long right now. But this is just an absolutely fantastic map. So much to discover. Great use, like I said, you got a great diagonal building here. Just so much to explore, so much depth to it, and it doesn't feel like there was any wasted space, anything set up just for context. It all has a purpose. It's all there for a reason, and it's all filled out really nicely, with also not feeling like it was cut off at the map edge. Perhaps a little bit this building here, but it's fully inside detailed, which I think is if you're going to have something get cut off by the map edge, detail the inside of it. So it was really great. So this was, again, built by Who's Leon, Renee Mulder, and Biohazard. This was the tile inspectors. And then they went up against, as I said, wrong folder, the Adventurers Club, and this is Lost World. The first thing that strikes you when opening this park is the very dark palette. That's something we have seen a lot of, and will continue to see a lot of in these head-to-head parks, is the use of a palette to help accurately depict whatever theme or place or time you're going for. And I think, it can get a little overdone potentially if you don't necessarily do it right. But if it works really well. And when I first viewed this park the first time, I was on a laptop. Now I'm on my desktop and able to view it where it's a bit brighter just because of my screen. And I got to say, this palette does work really, really nicely for this, for the theme that they're going for. And this is basically meant to be a sort of something along the lines of Skull Island from Kong, Jurassic Park, that type of vibe. It's not necessarily specifically one of those things intentionally, I don't believe, but that's the idea. We will real quick fix the weather, because if it rains, it gets even darker than it should be. So we start off here, this great wrecked ship that kind of sets the scene for what this park is about, which is explorers stumbling upon this lost island and discovering a civilization that's been there and is not exactly the most friendly. So we've got this great shipwreck, and there's a couple boats running around. That's the search party for that crew that was lost, which I think is a nice little detail to say, like, hey, we're looking for these people. This really is something that's lost. You got a bunch of clickable staff throughout the park to kind of help tell the story of what's going on. Guys looking for things. This whole island is just full of great little details done in the landscaping to tell the story and set this thing in a place. Like this just magnificent skull-ish cropped out rock where you kind of can't tell, is this the rocks itself that looks like this? Was this some prehistoric beast? It's kind of meant to be interpretive because that's what it would be like for the people showing up. But let's actually move in. As we saw earlier, there was a ride here that crashed. Was bargaining of this guy trying to break into the doors of this old civilization, and they're clearly not wanting anybody around. As we'll see with some of the darker stuff that we see throughout the map. But we'll start off here as it's going up the lift with the giant custom-supported RMC here. It says Rite of Passage, using the new track type and trains made by X7. I know he's got more numbers to his name, but I can't remember them all, and certainly not going to try to butcher it now. But this is just an absolutely gorgeously done RMC. The custom supports, again, for week one is just absolutely insane. So we start big vertical drop, wrap around that cool primitive skull, rise up, down, kind of a flying snake dive maneuver, big outer banked hill over this lava pit, jumping up around through the loop of another ride, big, fast, high-speed section, another turnaround outside the civilization, up barrel roll, and into the brakes. So pretty quick ride, but that's kind of what you'd expect from an RMC. They're fast and aggressive, and generally over pretty quickly. But it's done really well. And again, the custom supports are just absolutely insane for any amount of time it took, but especially for doing this for week one, along with everything else on this map. The custom supports are just crazy on this. And then as we, so then we'll take a dive here into the inside of the gates for the rest of the park. Got some crashed planes, got some fun, just lots of stuff like that. Lots of crashed planes here. We've got the big giant spider in the net, which is really, really cool, really creepy, really well done. And just lots of things like that to help set this scene, make it a place that's clearly some ancient prehistoric stuff going on. And I just, it looks so good. We've got this nice worship ride where everybody's kind of gathering around, jumping around the blue peeps. Clearly, that's what the people on this island look like. And again, I think this is one of those bits where using the palette change to advantage does help here. That clearly these aren't people. There's something, they might be related to people, but they're clearly not people as we know in the modern day. But just a bunch of cool, creepy stuff. You got the worship right here with the lava and a nice statue burning something in the middle. Over here on the side, we've got everybody queuing up for what is essentially a sacrifice. Or I guess they call it appeasement, where guests will go up and they'll basically get on a ride, get off, and drop down, and then they fall into the sacrificial pit below, where they eventually, unfortunately, drown. So a bit dark, bit morbid, but it fits the theme. It fits what they're going for here, and that's something that you can definitely explore with these types of parks in these matches. The bit smaller parks, a bit smaller rides, but you can kind of go with those crazier themes, especially for something like this where it's clearly an ancient lost world, and that's kind of something you'd almost expect to see. We've got a couple other rides here. First, real quick, we've got a nicely done custom swinging ship called Sacrifice. Nicely done, very well hacked with the spaced out floorless cars, looks pretty good. Fits in there nice and snug. I can't see how peeps get to it. I know they can, but I can't quite see the way that they get there. And then we've also got a Condor, which I really love, that each car of this Condor is made with a different vehicle. Clearly that it was something scrapped together or just kind of thrown together with what they had, and that really is indicative of that. You've got all these different, some of them spin, some of them are just kind of themed like clearly these were vehicles potentially that were used by previous explorers that washed up ashore, and they've found them and are now putting them to use in the ride here. And then the last ride that we have is Offering. This is a very weird but pretty cool shuttle coaster. We've got this double tower here with some people up the top. I believe these are all different people from the names of the team. But pretty cool, wraps around the base of the Condor, loop around the RMC, up the spike, and then back through the layout. Pretty clever ride design. I think it works really well, fits in really nicely. Is a cool extra added ride that I think it definitely adds to the park. You never want to see a ride added for the sake of being added, and this definitely doesn't feel like that. It feels like it fits. It feels like it works well and gives a little extra movement, a little extra depth to the park. And then the last thing I want to touch on here is just the absolutely fantastic landscaping and rock work throughout the park. This might be some of the best we've seen, I would say, ever. Just great uses of the Krypton rocks, the Lord of the Rings rocks, some base game stuff, these really nice pillars out of I believe those are the B&M supports there, the trees and everything, 1K ruins down in the land transitions on the sand, the different watercolors to kind of emulate waves or shallowness in the water. Just absolutely gorgeous. And I did forget to mention this. I should have mentioned at the top, but this this is Lost World. It was built by Hydroportal, In-Cities, Hex, and Central Ethiopian Police of the Adventurers Club. So well done to those guys. This is an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous map. I think definitely gets better with each viewing. And the final score of this match, this was definitely the match of round one, with a final score of Tile Inspectors 39, Adventurers Club 38. So one vote separated the two of them, which I can't say I'm surprised by because, like I said, these are probably the best two parks of round one. And it's, well-deserved win to the Tile Inspectors with Aqua Alta, but this was absolutely no slouch. It's a shame that somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose, such is the nature of head-to-head, but the real winner of all of this is everybody who enjoys RCT, because we get these absolutely amazing pieces of art basically out of it. So that's going to do it for my reviews of round one of Head-to-Head 9. This was match 3 again, Tile Inspectors versus Adventurers Club. So stay tuned. We will be reviewing all the parks in round 2 coming up very, very shortly. But thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time for reviewing round 2. Have a good day. Bye.